Hey, here we are. It's delayed on YouTube, but here we are. We are live right now. Let me turn down so I don't get any feedback. There we are. Miss
Hello.
Shonda.
Hi.
Hi. You look
Hello,
beautiful.
everyone.
You look beautiful
Thank you.
as usual.
Thank you.
Well, we're live and we'd like to welcome you to the Bravo with Sheila broadcast tonight. I'm so excited. Most of you know this platform is to enrich, enlighten, empower. So you take that right hand, that left hand, and give yourself a bravo. Give yourself a bravo just because. You don't need permission. You just do it because. And so tonight we lift up and we give you a bravo. I'm giving everybody a bravo out there. I'm putting my hands together. You deserve a bravo. Yes, yes, and yes. I'm excited tonight. I'm so excited to talk to this special jewel of a woman. Her name is Shonda Dickerson, and it's so much to talk about. I don't know where we're going to jump in or how we're going to do this, but I know God is right in the midst, and he's going to segue us into whatever we need to say or talk about. Shonda is someone who has been a woman of empowerment. She's very, very smart. Oh yeah, she's smart. You know, sometimes God give you those extra brains and intelligence. She has that. She has that gift. And so I've known her. Listen, I knew her when she was in the womb, right? Before we knew she was going to even pop out. I was very, very close. I won't even say friends, sisterhood with her mother. I mean, like glue. And she's a spitting image. When I look at her, I see her mom. And so tonight, I just felt to talk to Shonda. And I know that she has a lot to talk about. I know that she can talk from soup to nuts. I know she can talk about from the low place, the middle place, and the high place of life. And that is why I wanted her on this broadcast. That is why I decided to ask her to be a guest on this broadcast, because I know she has something to deposit into women across the world, young girls, whoever, men, whosoever will listen. And so on this platform, I like to bring women who can offer up encouragement, who can tell their story. And this is not an interview. This is a chat. This is so those of you that are going to sign on, those of you that might come into the chat, we are chatting. Please put your comments in the chat so that we can see what you feel about what we're talking about. This is a chat. This is not an interview. It's a free spirit conversation. And so I want to jump into what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I'm going to follow Shonda's lead as she follows my lead. But those of you out there, let me put a disclaimer. So just like I had the conversation with my daughter on the mother-daughter series the other night, and I know you enjoyed it because a lot of you are constantly watching it, and so thank you. But one thing, I was slipping up from calling my daughter Pache to Coco, and so you knew she was my daughter, right? Same scenario kind of here, all right? So I'm going to try to stay professional and call her Shonda, but my heartbeat, right? You might hear me say Pinky. And so just so you know, we're family. We are family. And so tonight we're just going to jump in. Welcome again. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I really felt in my heart to bring you on the platform. You are so diverse. You have so much to talk about. I don't even think we can do this in one sitting. I think we might have to do a part two. Absolutely. You know, everyone has a story to tell. Everyone is living, whether it's male, female, we all have a story to tell. Some of our dynamics are different from others, but nevertheless, it's a story. But your story, oh my God, your story is so powerful. So what I'd like to start with, I'd like you to just kind of set it up and share with the viewers where you were born, a little bit about your youth, and up to where you'd like to we'll segue into, listen, you're the student, the college student, you're going to be a lawyer. You know, we got a lot to talk about. You're on your way. You like breaking ceilings. Like, I get so excited when I watch and see what you're doing, because I know the struggle and I know what you have broke down barriers. So let's jump into sharing. You jump in wherever you want to jump in, but do tell them where you were born and raised, because this is going all over the world.
Good evening, all. I don't have a script, so I'm going to talk from my heart. My name is Shonda Dickerson Muse. I was born in Harlem, raised in Martin Luther King Jr. foster projects. I was born to my parents who are friends with Sheila, and like she said, almost like sisters. Basically, I was raised by my grandmother and my aunt in the projects. I went through all of the issues of that era. You know, it was pretty tough around that time with so many social dilemmas and social issues being about. And my grandmother raised me in the church. She was very strict on discipline and religion. She put us in parochial schools. And from there, we just were raised in a family with values, with beliefs, with good morals. And then, the street happened, peer pressure, every types of issue women have gone through, young women have gone through. I have basically gone through. I can relate, and I'm sure you all can relate to a lot of the social, issues that, have played a part in our times. And then I went to parochial school. My grandmother was very, adamant about that. I was graduated from Cathedral High School in '85, and then I went to corporate America. I swept that by storm and, made my way in there. I made myself fit in.
Yeah.
It's different than it was today. It wasn't a lot of us there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we had to deal with a lot of issues, in that sense. But
hey, Coco. Hi. She's saying hi, Pinky.
Hi, Coco. I'm sorry, Pache. So basically, I worked at Motown Records. I've always been in the legal field. I raised my children in Harlem and, other places, not in the projects though, but I did raise all three of my children. And I just like to say, I've been through fire, but out of my storms are rainbows. I mean, God has been so good, and his mercy and grace follows me everywhere I go. My grandmother was a praying woman, and she prayed her family all the time. And basically what I can say is, in my age now, all of that Christian and spirituality has sustained me, and it gives me the passion, it gives me the joy, it gives me the drive and motivation that I have today. I am definitely a child of God. I'm not a saint, but I'm definitely his child.
That's what it's about. That's exactly what it's about. A believer and being a child of God.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. I am so, into my spirituality and becoming who I am today. I wrote these 3 novels about my life. First of all, growing up in Harlem, my schooling, my education, my corporate America, my coming into being a mom. I wrote all those 3 books based around actual events that played out into my life. My books are topics that draw on to mental health. Every type of women issue you can imagine are in those books. Please believe me. And also in these books is the joy and the blessings that God has bestowed upon me in my life. I thank him every day that he allows me another day to wake up, because I've seen some things and been through some things that I shouldn't have escaped from without, any type of injury or, you know what I mean? So I wrote those books with passion and with my life and, my truth.
So let me ask you. So the name of you have 3 books.
Yes, I have a trilogy.
It's a trilogy, Source Boss.
Yes.
Right. So I want you to tell the audience, I want you to chat a little bit about the first one, and I want you to tell us where the name Sauce Boss came from.
Okay, Sauce Boss is an autobiography of my life and times and my upbringing in Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
It details my life growing up in the struggle during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It details actual situations and journeys growing up in oppression, drug-afflicted Harlem, and the components of that era. It's fights with civil injustices and the environment in which I was raised. It details actual plights as a child, teenager, young adult, and a woman growing up in the confines of New York City. My testimony takes you through my journeys of childhood, neglect, religion, education, molestation, teenage rivalry, peer pressure, single parenting,
Yes.
substance abuse,
Yes.
domestic violence, mental imbalance,
Yes.
self-confidence, power, pain, and hurt.
Yes.
Just basically touch on my life and rises in corporate America and my battles with intimacy, relationships, and my spirituality.
You see, Pache says, because, on this platform, we go back and forth to the chats. And Pache says, and in your right mind.
Yes, I am
in my right mind.
Most of the time. Sauce Boss, the name.
Yeah.
I worked hard as a young mom and raising my two daughters, single.
Yeah.
So on Friday, I worked hard every day during the week. On Friday, I would not come home after work. My grandmother, as she would help me with my children. So when I come home, if the girls needed something, that was a good time to catch me. So Asia would ask Ashley, what type of mood is mommy in? And Ashley would be like, oh, it's Sauce Boss Friday. She's Sauce Boss. So that's how they got all those big ticket items out of me on those Fridays, on Sauce Boss Fridays. Yeah. So that name just sort of stuck with me. It was their little code to let them know, it's her day. So I just always, fondly held on to that name, and I just named my books after that.
Well, that was God. That was God, because little did you know that was the beginning of the 3 books. Exactly. I mean, it was kind of prophetic how the girls tagged you with the Sauce Boss, right? But now the Sauce Boss is making coins for you. The Sauce Boss is a ring. Yes. People know you all over the world from your books. Tap into the Hollywood, from Harlem to Hollywood. Tap into the dynamics of going from East Coast to West Coast back to East Coast.
Harlem to Hollywood.
Yes.
This book was the last of the trilogy. It was a book that took me from one of the toughest times in my life through a really hard custody battle, which put me in California. Mm-hmm. And California wasn't easy for me, but it wasn't hard either. Mm-hmm. I got so in touch with God. I lived in that land most of the time by myself. Yeah. I went through some things that were really rough. I've seen a culture that is very foreign to me. Yeah. I lived in some areas in California that people were not like me there, so I really got to lean on my faith and my strength in God, and he carried me through it. Yes. I started out in Panorama City, and I ended up in Calabasas. I used to drive my car through Calabasas every day, every morning, just to see the beautiful land. Yes. I liked the mountains. I was obsessed with the mountains. I used to drive every day, and when my daughter came out to visit, she was like, "Mom, you really want to live in Calabasas, don't you?" I said, "Yes," and I am. And before I left that land I lived, I had a Calabasas address. I was the brokest person in Calabasas, but I made it there.
But you have favor on you.
The grace of God, he got me there. you know,
Yes.
and basically that was a custody battle situation. My husband ended up coming there and we got married in Vegas. You know, it was a real soul searching journey, and that's
Yes.
what Source Force 3 is mostly about. It's
Yes.
gritty, it's honest,
Yes.
it's full of personal traumas and
Yes.
stories that, you know, I really got very honest in Source Force 2 and Source Force 3 and made it more about myself and not
But
other
each
people in my life. You know what
but
I mean?
each book, this is the thing. For you to be able to write, Pache says he
Yes,
had to
he did.
get you by yourself to grow the relationship.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And
And I had to get him out of New York and
he'll
able to
move you.
steal that
Right.
relationship. You know, we had to be
Absolutely.
out of our comfort elements of New
Yes.
York
Yes.
and just get to be with one another. And that's
Right.
how we came together, and we just finally went and got married, and that solidified our marriage. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So I really had a very soul searching journey from Harlem to Hollywood. It gave
So
me
yeah, because someone asked me, well, what does she mean? Now I knew your story and I knew you were in Hollywood, right? I knew that, I mean, I knew you left here and went to California to you know, and I knew you what you were going through, and I didn't know in detail, but you shared a lot with me and I've read your books. And the thing that I was going to say is that for you to have such a power packed book on each three levels, and it's not no 100 page. I mean, you when you hit the keys, girl, it's not no, it's a
no
read.
stopping me, you
No,
know.
it's not. It's a read. It's a read. You know, I mean, you just have so much, and to be able to. That's why I wanted you to come and tell your story. Hi, my vivid life, popping in to say hello. All right, special guest, my vivid life is saying hello to you. She's on
Thank you.
YouTube and she pops on and she is just stopping by to say hi. Hi, my vivid life.
Good to see
Yeah.
you.
So what I'm saying is that for you to have so much to say in each book, like I said, your book is a read. It's not no 100 page, 150. People might think because you did three, right? Trilogy, that it's like, oh, well, you know, must be like a little 150 here and a little. No, and when you're intense in your writing, when did you start writing? I mean, listen, you helped me with my chapters of my life, right? I had written my book, and then you took and you did what you needed to do to get it to that next level, right? Another one is coming, just haven't had time, but you have helped so many other people on their journeys at the same time you were writing your stuff. You just find time. You're a helper. You help to get people from one level to the next. But Pinky / Shonda, you have so much inside of each one of your books. Now, this last book, is a number 4 coming, or is this the?
Of course it is, because this one has so many accomplishments and so many blessings. You know, I need to have a 4th book to show people that, listen, I got through all of this and here I am now. You know, I after I came back from California, I made it my business to go back and continue my higher education. So soon as I came home, I hit the ground running. I went and finished my associates. I finished my bachelor's, and then I finished my master's. 5 years straight, full-time schooling after work, full-time at a very busy law firm. So I just, you know, went straight ahead and nothing stopped me. And even things were happening in between those 5 years that were, you know, adverse and meant to destroy me. But it did not. My God kept me up, and he lifted me up and made me able to conquer these, you know, blessings and these accreditations. And I just took the LSAT to try to go to law school next year. I basically needed a year off of schooling to sort of just exhale. I am off, so I'm definitely going to law school next year. You know, which one, I don't know right now, but I'm applying to 2 New York City law schools, and I will be in one of them.
Well, you've been in that arena. You've been working for attorneys.
I've been working for attorneys for most of my career, maybe almost 30 years.
Yeah, they can't breathe without you.
They can't. Not much gets done when I don't come in. So,
right.
know, I'm very, very, you know, I'm grateful for the attorneys that I work for today that has elevated me along with their positions, that has been so flexible with my schooling and my,
Right.
my issues concerning
Yes.
my education. And they've also been very supportive. So I'm blessed to have very strong people in my life today.
Yes.
I have a wonderful family, wonderful
Yes,
children
you
and
do.
grandchildren. Every day I wake up, I'm just so in awe at the blessings that God has bestowed upon me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's only right to give it back to the community. And that's what I do today. I help people with resumes. I help people with paperwork. I help people, cut corners that's hard for maybe them to cut. And
Right.
I just, try to give back my talent, my skill, all the wonderful things that God and my grandmother has put into me.
Yes.
Each day I learned something new about myself. I learned something new about people and humanity. And three words that you put into my psyche long ago, Aunt Sheila, is keep it moving. The thing here is I know what's behind me. I have to keep it moving and keep
Yes.
doing and walking those steps
Yes.
God has ordered for me.
Yes.
God already wrote my book already. I'm
Yes. Yes.
in those pages and those chapters,
Yes.
so I'm letting God use me for whatever he sees fit today. And I
Yes.
want to thank you so much for this platform, because I have a lot to say. And
Yes.
I'm asking God today to guide my words and guide my steps here tonight. And I didn't really even know what direction this interview was going on, because I didn't listen to the assignment by logging in 15 minutes earlier. However, I'm confident in myself and what's on my heart and my ability to
And that's
speak.
what it's about. That's what the platform is about. And when I invited you, it wasn't to give you a script. It
Right,
was, I like authentic, from
right.
the heart, because when you're authentic, people can feel the realness. They know it's not a script.
They're
They know it's the
conversations.
truth. They
They call
know
them
it's,
conversations today.
yes.
And it's
Yes.
conversations we women need to have.
Right, right. So what would you say? It's a lot of people who are late in the game and getting up to do what they feel to do, but because of insecurities, because of abuse, because of the things that you actually have overcome. A lot of women are still stuck in that place. Maybe they don't have a safety net. Maybe they don't have a support system. Maybe they don't have that innate thing that drives you, right? And that's the whole point of talking to women, because we wear so many masks. We cover up everything, but we're shallow. A lot of women are just shallow on the inside, but they look beautiful on the outside. But you wind up running into yourself if you don't sit in it and take a how do you say, an accountability to yourself to get up and change a situation. What would you say to someone who is listening to you, or who will listen to you and be like, wow, I wish I could have strength to do that?
First of all, it's never too late to progress your life, no matter how. There's no age limit on doing better and
Mm,
being better.
yes.
That's first and foremost. And words I also live by, it starts and ends with you. You know what I mean? It's not this person's fault. It's not that situation's fault. It starts and ends with us. And the advice I give to people is to try to move the smaller obstacles out of your way first.
Nice,
And
nice.
then, work on things one day at a time. You can't take on every issue you have in a week. Start with the smaller things, get those smaller obstacles out of your way, and start
Nice.
from there. And another thing is to stop carrying other people's baggage. We
Say
have
that again. Say
Stop
it again.
carrying other people's stuff. They're too heavy in that backpack. The world is so heavy. Everything's going on in the world. It's too much to carry other people's trauma and tragedy. Let that go. And it lightens your load. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Concentrate on one thing at a time and build, and always, try to keep yourself up. Prayer
Yes.
is the one thing that gives me joy today.
I know.
Some
Yes, I know.
people, some people are amazed at how I can be so humorous and upbeat all the time. That's the God in me, sweetheart.
Yes.
Okay, only he can give me that joy. People can be so rich with money and have nothing in their soul that's happy.
Right.
God gives me that joy every day. So
Yes.
it
Yes.
starts and ends with you. Move the little issues out of your way, and you got to fight for your own life every single day. And you can't take
Yes.
days off. You
That's
can't.
so important. That's
You have
so
to.
important. Because I'll say all the time, turn the voices off. Just turn the voices off. People, places, people in your head. What somebody said you were or not. Someone said you couldn't be, or someone said, turn the voices off. Get away from people, places, and things that don't lift you up, right? Not tolerate. You're not to be tolerated. You're to be celebrated. And because we as women carry so much. I mean, my goodness, we have layers and layers and layers of life on top of us, right? And so we have to start taking that onion and peeling it and taking it off. Like you said, sometimes, and that's so strong what you said, do the little thing first, because the little thing leads you to the
To the
biggest
bigger
step.
things. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's like
That's,
repairing your credit. You got to do it one step at a time.
that's
It's just
good.
like you have to apply these formulas to everything in your life. You know what I mean? At some point in our ages, we have to stick to some type of routine that works because we already know what doesn't
What
work.
That's good. That's good. That is truth right there. How y'all say facts? Yeah.
Those are facts.
That's what it is. Or what's the other thing? That part.
That part, we have to understand our assignments today. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We have to do what works and what's proven to work and what gives you success. That's it. It starts and ends with you.
Yes. Yes.
And that's
Yeah,
the pressure to live by.
she says get a system in place.
Exactly. A system. Everything works with systems. It's when you
Yeah.
don't have any organization and systems in your life when your life goes awry.
So that's a self-discipline though.
It
Would you
is.
say that that's sitting with just cutting certain things off and just being disciplined? I think that's one of the weaknesses within us, the lack of discipline.
Exactly.
Right?
And
The learned
discipline was taught
behavior.
from a child. You know what I
The
mean?
learned
So
behavior.
it's really hard, to learn new disciplines as we get older. But discipline started as a child. You know what I mean? It started in those rigorous schools that my grandmother sent it to me. It started in church, all the systems, the Bible class, the Sunday school, the systems my grandmother put in place, and these are the things and the foundations that sustain me today that I live on.
Yeah,
And
I think I need to do a platform and get you and get Pache and get two other people, two other women to talk about the empowering grandmothers that they had in their life. The jewels that the grandmothers, because my mother did what your precious grandmother did. I call her Mama Flo, like the whole world knows her. And she lives on and on and on. And I think that to talk about that, right, is empowering again, because my mother was that to my children. Your grandmother was that to the world, plus, and I think that's a conversation that women need to have too, because my daughter didn't know my mother, my daughter D, and she always says, well, I don't know what you're talking about, or I said, oh my God, oh, I wish you would have.
Yes.
Oh God, so people take for granted things like that, to have a grandmother and a grandfather or elders in the family. Your grandmother lived to be the ripe old age of 99.
Yes, 99 and a half.
She almost pushed that 100.
99 and a half. And I remember Miss Dee as well. Her house was our house as well. They were the same type of women with the same type of values, and they raised their families in the same type of manners.
Yes.
So we are blessed, because that's what's wrong with some of the youth today that's living foul and going crazy. They didn't have those type of grandmothers. Their grandmothers are 34, and their grandmothers are still in the streets.
Yes.
So they didn't have people that showed them love.
So
you know what I mean? So they didn't have those houses that we had, those warm houses that smell like cornbread. They didn't have that. So the youth of today are lost, and I just pray for them. I just pray for them. you
You have
know.
beautiful children, Shonda.
Thank
Your
you.
children,
Thank
your
you.
girls,
And I'm blessed because they're great young ladies and they're
they are.
strong and they follow my traditions and values. And I'm so
Yes.
proud of them.
They
Yes, they are.
respect you. They
Yes, they
respect you.
are.
They respect your hustle. They
So,
respect your grind. They see how you rose above. They named you Source Boss.
yes, they
So
did. Yes, they
tell
did.
you it was prophetic. They didn't know.
Yes, they did.
God gave them that. God dropped that in their little spirit, and
Mhm.
they knew Source Boss Friday. What's
Yes,
happening? So
exactly.
it's just an honor, like to really talk to you on this level. You are my niece until I leave this earth.
Right.
Um, I know that there is so much more that you could touch on, but I'd like you to kind of segue before you leave the platform. I'd like you to segue to talk about the new book that's coming up is going to be probably released when you finish law school or on your way. Well, you know what? We're
It'll
not going
be
to put
in
a
the
cap
next
on
year or
it. It
two.
may
I'm
not
gonna
be.
I'll
Yeah,
probably write it while I'm in law school.
that's what
You
I
know
was
what I mean?
thinking.
Because I'm gonna have a lot of writing to do then, so I might write it shortly before.
Yeah,
I've already started writing the book, and that's how I write books. I journal. I write my thoughts at night. I write my thoughts when I'm hurting. I write my thoughts when I'm happy. And
yeah,
then I put them into a book. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
so Source Force 4 is already in motion,
I'm sure.
so, and I still helping people publish their own works, and nothing gives me greater joy than seeing someone become an author, and I help them to do that. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So, like I said, I let God use me. I let Him order
And
my
he
steps,
does.
and
Yeah,
I
but
just
your
use my
heart,
logic. I
your
use my logic to stay grounded.
Yeah,
You know
but your
what
heart is for the people.
I mean?
Baby.
Yes,
Your
it is.
heart. People, look, there are many women with a lot of talents that are smart, but they're selfish and not selfless,
Right.
right? You find a way to get somebody to the next station in life. And
Yes.
that's what, and you find time. Sometimes I'd be like, when's she going to rest? When's
Right.
she going to shut it down? But I think over the years, you have learned now, because there were one time you were going so hard that it was too much.
It wore me out. It put me into manic episodes that I couldn't handle. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And I still battle with my mental illness, but I have a better balance with it now.
yeah,
And I'm definitely not where I was before with it.
yeah. You found that pocket. You
Right,
know when you're going too far. You know the
right,
balance and how
right.
the
Yes.
boundaries with yourself. Another thing we don't have as women, we
That's
just like we don't have boundaries.
oh no, and they don't have limits and levels to their shit, and
Yeah,
that's what brings upon destruction, in your life,
yes,
And one thing I
yes,
have is discipline. So I learned, early that you have to have discipline in everything that you do to have success.
yes. What is
So
passion? Yes, I know that feeling. It's amazing to help others.
yes,
Greatest
indeed.
joy ever.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
So you
So
have to hurry up and get this degree, not degree, you have to become this attorney, because you're gonna
yes,
have to represent me.
yes,
You're
I
gonna
have.
have to, I trust you. You gotta listen, you gotta be able to trust your attorneys. Just
Yes,
because they're a
indeed.
lawyer don't mean you know that for a fact. You've seen some good lawyers, some good
I can't
attorneys,
wait
and
to get in the courtroom. Like one of the senior partners in my firm told me, you know what kind of lawyer not to be. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to get in the courtroom.
you
And
can't.
I'm
Oh
not
my
going to
goodness.
stop until I'm there. But if God is willing and the creek don't rise, it's going to happen. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely. And I was
I
gonna
just
say
got
to
to
you,
take the steps, walk the steps to get to it. And
yes,
that's it.
absolutely. I was gonna say, Source Boys, we're not putting no cap on it. I don't
No
think it's
cap.
gonna ever
No
end.
caps.
No cap. I think it's just gonna keep going. Source Boys, till we get to the screen. When we get to that movie screen, like we just condense everything and make this awesome, awesome, awesome. And then it's not gonna stop, because you're never gonna stop writing.
I have so many. I wear so many hats. I wear
How
so
many?
many hats.
How many?
So many. It's they have me cooking. They have me catering now. You know.
Oh my goodness, really?
People just making me their caterers now. It's God's grace and mercy.
Well, look,
it's God's grace and mercy.
Look, you're getting ready to open a business, a couple of businesses. This is 2022. You're gonna have you a solid business. I don't know which one you're gonna choose first to get out there with in terms of a real structured business.
Right,
aside from your writing, aside from the attorney, it's just so many gifts and talents, and you like to be busy. You don't like to be dormant. You need to be doing things.
I do.
You're not the type to just sit. Listen, you are so much like your mom that is so, you're so much like Gaynell. Oh my God, so much. It's like talking to you about your mom is almost like trying to talk to Coco about her dad because he died, right? And so she don't know.
Right.
She knows stories. Right. People say to her, "Oh, you look like your dad," and da 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 da. And I tell her stories about his humor. The other day we were talking. I said, "Yeah, your dad used to say all kind of funny stuff."
Didn't he die just as she was born?
Same day.
Yeah, I remember in the book.
Same day. Yes. And your mom, and so when I look at you and the way your mom, the smile, the humor, the joy, the one-liners, everybody loved your mother.
Yes. It was a riot, and I was so blessed to have had her for 30 years,
Yes.
So blessed,
Absolutely.
And she's still with me. Her and my grandmother,
Absolutely.
The spirit is definitely still with me.
For sure. She lives on. She lives through you. But you have so much of her characteristics and DNA, the mannerisms and stuff. I'll be like, oh my God, that was just Gaynell. And I know she's so proud of you. I know that she's so proud of you. And I'm so happy that you're in a space in your time right now, you and your husband doing well. You got your nice place. I'm watching. And I said she got her little pizzazz. You
can't help but watch. I'm always there in your face. You know what I mean? I love to show people how good God is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm a writer. It's what I do.
Now the writing.
I share, and you don't know how many people come to me inbox and say, something you shared helped me with this.
Yes.
Or something you talked about helped me with that. And not everyone is honest and, giving me the power or even the confirmation that I helped them.
Right.
But trust me, I do more good than harm.
Yes. But Pinky, when did you start writing?
Transparent as I am.
When did you know that you were a writer? Was that a gift the passion? Did the passion turn on when you were a young girl? Did you journal when you were young? Were you creative in your head when you were young?
Very young, from 10, those diaries we had with the little key.
With the keychain. With the key.
Write up every night in them religiously. And then I used to get all my girlfriends in trouble because my grandmother used to read it. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So I've been journaling from a child, and I find it so therapeutic. You know what I mean? It gets stuff off your chest. It gets stuff off your head. And then it gives you reflection when you read back on it. So I've been doing this since a child.
Kathy says, love the name. You are amazing. Keep doing what you are doing. Yeah, because I know, once you helped me with my book and did, I've been watching you right from the beginning. You said, "Oh, Sheila, why you didn't call me? Why you didn't?" You're so smart. Yes. You just have it. Some people just get it. I was talking to Dee, my youngest daughter, right? And we know she's the brain. And I was talking to her today, and she was driving in California. And she says, oh my God. She looked over. She said, Ma, he don't know where I'm from. Because they were trying to not let her in. She said, I'm going to get in. I said, New Yorkers. So I was like, but Dee, just what you did just now, you're assuming that the driver knows how to drive with the skills like you. Just like when you were in school, you thought everyone was smart like you. She would finish a test in like 3-4 minutes and leave the class. I said, they're going to hate you. She would call me, I'm done. What do you mean you done? I did it. I said, oh my God. I said, that's a gift.
Yes.
When God gives you a gift, I said, don't take that for granted. Everyone is not blessed. We all have gifts, but he just sprinkled that thing in your head and her, that brain that is like this. The intellect is like this. The
Yes.
intelligence is like this. And so with you helping people, writing, so you actually felt the passion to write when you were like 10.
Yes. Very early I started writing.
You see what Coco said, the brain.
The brain. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Coco, for your support.
So tell me, so it was 10 years old that you knew, see, because the passion, when the passion turns on, that's when, you know how we talk about purpose. We talk about, there's a scripture in the Bible, Psalm 139 says, I knitted you in your mother's womb and intricately, which means that God, it was a fabric of colors that he placed in the mother, your mother's womb, my mother's womb. And he intricately placed these things, right? He says, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, right? Now, a lot of people think when they're born that they bump into purpose. No, purpose is in us from innate, from the beginning of time. It's just that life, and when we're born into this crazy world, we get off track. Right. I mean, it's the world, just the enemy just starts to distort our picture. Right. But purpose, like I knew I wanted to sing. You know that. Since I was 8 or 9, we was in Beverly's house doing the fan club of the Manhattans and the microphones, and we were there. I knew. Everyone does not know what they want, what the passion is. They don't know. Well, I don't know where I fit. I don't understand it. They'll have 50 jobs trying to find their niche. Again, you're blessed if you know what it is that you want to do or want to be. And for you, it must have been a multiple thing. It must have been a smorgasbord. But the writing, you started when you were 10.
Yes.
And the little diary, I remember with the key.
Yes, that's where it started. And I still do it. I still journal,
Yeah, I do too. I think it's important for women to journal.
Therapeutic, it's very, very therapeutic to get this on paper,
Yes.
And that's what I've been doing all my life. And it's probably what I'll always do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I journal a lot too.
Now they have these gadgets. You could just talk and, talk your thoughts in. And it types it yourself. You know what I mean? But I find more joy in actually
writing
myself. You know what I mean? I'm old school, so I kind of stick to my old traditions that work for me.
Yeah.
So a lot of these Audible platforms I haven't been, introduced to yet, but I'm getting there. Like you said, I have a lot to do and it's on the list.
Yeah, but some things are good, like with the journaling. Like I opened up a journal with myself, and and it was from, I think, around 10 years ago. And I said, let me see where my head was. Let me see my head space 10 years ago. And when I started to read it, I was like, oh my God, I was in a messed up place.
Like one of my books, it's hard for me to actually read it.
Which one? 1, 2, or 3?
The second one.
2.
Because I rewrote the first one. The first one was so controversial. I had so much anger in it towards other people. And after I wrote the second book in Cali, I wrote the second book. I rewrote that first one. I took a lot of what was in there originally, and I took out a lot of the negative stuff because, I was in a bad place when I wrote that book. You know what I mean? But I couldn't not have a first book. So I took it off the market for years. Yes. And I rewrote it. And now it's the way it should have been in the first place.
But it's okay. When I understood, we had that conversation, and a lot of flack came, a lot of comments, a lot of negativity because you shared where you were in your heart.
Yeah, I was just, and I was right in my mental illness. That's right when I got diagnosed. I was, I was in a bad space, but I was in a beautiful place living in Jersey. But everything, and I believe that's when my life took a change right then. That was in 2010. I had to get all that stuff out in a book I've been harboring all my life.
Yes.
And, I had to fix that wrong. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And rewrite my baby and make her better and make her with purpose.
Yes.
And a story my story and not
Yes.
other people's stories.
Yes.
You know what
Yes.
I mean? And
But it
then,
was good. And I think a
oh,
lot of that because when you have
people
broken
still want
trust.
that book, but that book is unpublished.
Right.
And then two is the book that hard for me to read because I
Yeah.
got so honest in it. And I
Yeah.
really, really told a compelling story of how it really went. And oh, that book is hard for me to read today.
Yeah. I read it.
Because I'm so far removed from that trauma.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that was a rough one. It was such a powerful
yes,
read though. Let me tell you. It was so authentic.
right,
Let me tell you, you helped so many people by being naked and
right.
exposing your emotions. You know what I mean? You really
Transparent,
got
you know.
even though the first book you exposed, you were it was a bit angry, but it was truth. It was how you felt, right? And some of it was distorted because of where you were. When you did the second one, and I read it and I was like, oh my God, how does she survive this? How is she? How did she? I mean, each chapter was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh yeah, like
Yeah,
that, like
yeah.
that.
My grandmother used to call me in the middle of the night, like, Pinky, you really went through these things? You really did these? Like, yes, Mama.
Yes.
My grandmother
And the
used
thing
to
is, you
read it
didn't
like,
trust.
oh my gosh.
Yes. And I
Even
think,
on to the third book, she would
yeah,
call me like, this really happened in California? Like, you
yeah.
didn't tell me. Like, no, that's not stuff that you tell your
And
90
even
year
in
old
your
grandmother.
second book, you were talking about, I wish I would have pulled it out. In your second book, you were talking about doing it alone. A lot of the stuff that you went through, no one knew. It was like, oh my God. I mean, it was like, why did she tell so? I think based on also on the first book, your trust had been broken by so many so-called friends and
Right,
so many people that said they were with you and for you and
right,
this and didn't understand you and had their mouth on you. Your trust had been broken and you were building your life back and your trust back. So you guarded yourself. You wrote the second book, but you were guarded, but you were still exposed, but you didn't reach out for help. I was reading it saying, oh my God, oh my God, why she didn't call me? Or, that type of thing. But you helped so many people. Your book is gone everywhere.
yeah.
Everywhere. And yes, I would think it would be hard for you to read it because you're so far removed from it now.
Yeah, and it really is hard for me to read that. The
Yeah.
third book not so much because it's still fresh.
Yeah.
And the third book tells a story with my son in it, so it's not hard for me to read that.
Right. Right.
However, two was the baby. Two is a movie. Trust me
Yeah.
when I tell you.
Absolutely. Don't watch. We're gonna do the movie. We're gonna do the movie. We're gonna do the movie.
Yeah,
Just stick a pin in that.
somebody needs to.
Yes.
Those are the other letters I have on my other machine that I got to get them out. Because these train wreck books are in now. You know what I mean? All these issues. You know what I mean? I've been talking about mental illness for 12 years. Now it's fashionable. You know what I mean? So they're in now. And it's a lot of Black women in power now. So
Yes.
God ain't done with me yet. He ain't done with my story either.
That's
what I
right.
mean? But I'm just putting things in my life that I can actually take to the bank, like degrees. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've been through so many places that said, no, you don't have a degree. We can't do this. You can't do that. So I went and got those degrees. You know what I mean? So the writing stuff, that's a hobby. That's a passion. But I'm doing things that's solid. You know what I mean? On paper.
You're gonna be a powerhouse in the courtroom, girl. I'm just gonna.
I can't wait to get in the courtroom.
I'm gonna be on speed dial with you. You're gonna be saying, Auntie, I got a case today. Come sit. I'm gonna be sitting in the back. I'm gonna be right there.
God is gonna use me to help women that been through situations and things that I've been through. What you think he building me up for? You know what I mean? He's gonna use me effectively, and I'm gonna let him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm gonna let him. All I have to do is walk the walk to get there. You know what I mean?
Almost there.
That's all I need is my JD, and I'm off to the races. You know what I mean?
To the races for sure.
And I'm gonna be doing something I love, helping people, and as an advocate.
Yes. That's your heart.
so hard. I'm almost there, Aunt Sheila. I'm almost there.
I know.
You know what I mean? I'm almost there.
I know.
So
I feel it. I feel it with you.
I just
I'm
gotta keep walking.
excited.
You know, and you know one thing that like my load is carrying other people's baggage. Like I let some of that shit go. Like I can't save America. You know what I'm saying? You know, I gotta try to save myself because I'm so fragile.
Yep.
But I am a child of God, so I'm built from the bricks. And
yes. And you gotta just take off the weight and just stay focused and don't pick up no extra nothing. Exactly. Right? Because you've done the work on yourself, so you're not picking up anything that you've already dropped off. No, it's not going down like that.
Because we know what's behind us, you know.
Yes.
Like you say, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
You my niece. You are my niece.
Nothing changes.
That's it. Right?
Amen. That's it.
Period.
You know what I mean?
Period. Yeah, girl, that changed my life. Nothing changes. Yes. I had to sit in that for a minute.
Yes.
And when I sat in that thing and I said, sounds simple, but it's not. Somebody got to change. Something got to shift. Or else it's going to be the same thing.
And that's a seed you planted in a lot of us. People listen to you. People love you. They admire and respect you for a very long time, Aunt Sheila. Since I've known you, you've been this huge figure. You know what I mean? Like Diana Ross. You just that woman. And, you know, things that you say, sometimes you don't think a lot of people listening, or they might not tell you they received it, but people receive your word. You know, like I look at your Instagrams and I'm like, yes. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful to come onto your platform because you have been an inspiration to many with your millions of talents and abilities.
Amen.
So
thank you for that, sweetie.
Yes, you one of those queens up there, you know. So I'm grateful to have you in my life.
Always, forever, you know? Forever. Yes. So before we go, I want you to say what you want to say. I want you to just flat foot, just speak to the women. Wrap it up with whatever you feel in your heart to say. I know we have to come back and do a part 2. We already established that at the front of the top of the show. We already established that. Tell us where we can get your books. Tell us how we can contact you. What's your IG? Tell us.
I am available wherever books are sold. Amazon, Lulu.com, Barnes & Noble. Just Google Source Force by Pinky and you'll find a venue to purchase my works. I am at Pinkalink1 on Instagram. That's PINKALINK1 on Instagram. And I'm Shonda Muse on Facebook and Shonda Pinky Dickerson. So I just wanted to thank all of you. And I want to tell the young girls, believe in yourself. You know what I mean? You don't need anyone to lift you up. Pray, have a strong relationship with God, and believe in yourself. And remember, it starts and it ends with you.
Yes.
You know, women have to be told this early on in their life, that they're worth it and that they're good and that they're enough and that they can. And yes, we can.
Yes.
I want you young girls to look into yourselves, because I always tell my younger self, you know, I talk to my younger self, and y'all can do it. You know, it starts and it ends with you. Education is very important in your life. God and religion and spirituality is very important in your life. Having fun comes along with all of those things too. But young ladies, it starts and ends with you. Believe in yourself. You know what I mean? And that's it, you know. Discipline, stay in school, you know, try so many lessons. And my grandmother taught me, they come up in my head now. You know, listen, those seeds that are planted that are good, listen to them. You know, these men and these boys are not the be all and end all. You are the be all and end all.
Yes, that's empowering. Woo, that was good. That's so good. Absolutely. Oh my God, I thank you so much. Listen, all of you out there, I know that you were blessed with Pinky / Shonda Dickerson.
I
I
do.
know you were. Go and get her books. I'm telling you, you will be amazed at how God has moved her from pain to power and from power to glory. And she is moving consistently, giving back. I know she's going to come back on the platform. I really think that we need to do that grandma
do.
segment. I
You do,
think that,
yeah, get a few women,
yeah,
like a panel
panel
discussion,
to talk about the nuggets that your grandmother, those seeds. I know
Right.
Coco's she already said yes. I
Yes,
have to get the right blend for us,
yes,
and get
yes,
everybody up here to talk about, to give, to salute them. They're
yes,
not here, but to give them a platform, right? We
exactly,
still give them a platform because that's how
exactly.
powerful they
Yes,
were
indeed.
in
Yes,
the lives,
indeed.
right? So we're going to do that. And of course, Sauce Boss, I'm going to keep following you and bring you back
Thank you.
constantly. I want to be at your graduation. I want to be at something. If I can't be there, send me a link. Let me do
Well,
something. I
thank you.
must be there to
Thank
see
you.
what's going on with you and to keep rooting you on and to be that elder in
Thank
your life.
thank you
Amen.
so
I'm
much.
the elder now.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And these are
Yes.
my books. They can be
Oh,
found
yes. Hold your books
anywhere,
up.
of course, anywhere
Hold
books
it
are
up a little
sold.
bit. There you go. There you
Source
go.
Force by Pinky. There's 3 of them. Okay.
Right.
So get on your computers and find them, and trust me, you
You
won't be
won't.
disappointed.
You won't be
You won't be.
disappointed. No
No, you
way.
won't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's only one Pinky.
Thank you.
Stay right there. We're going to leave. Stay right there. So, you guys, thank you for staying with us. Thank you for being here. Bravo on with Sheila. Ladies, let's chat. I had a great time tonight. Tomorrow, we have another great guest. We have Tina Kendricks from, we're talking about body sculpting. We're talking about how she was a single parent raising, I think, 4 girls onto entrepreneurship now. She's New York City's body sculptor now. She's an incredible woman. She'll be on the platform tomorrow. And so at 7:00, but I thank you so much. If you need prayer, you can hit me up at bravowithsheila@gmail.com. Also, if there's a particular topic that you'd like us to chat about, bravowithsheila@gmail.com. Just send me an email. I want to hear your heart. I want to talk about the things that are pressing on you so that we can move from pain to power and from power to victory. So I want to say good night to all of you. Stay well. Remember, when nothing changes, nothing
Nothing changes.
changes. So keep it moving.
Good
Oh my
night and
goodness.
God bless. Thank you all for having me. And thank you, Sheila. I
Stay right
appreciate
there.
it.